Good morning, welcome to the channel, welcome to Settle. Now, I'm staying in a car park tonight, which is all very well and good because you feel safe with other people. But there's a rugby club over there blaring music out all night, and it wasn't the quietest. Only £5 for an entire night, which is really rare to be able to actually stay somewhere like that when you're out in the Yorkshire Dales. So we're going to be having a little bit of crumpet, no, not like that, a little bit of honey and crumpet for breakfast. Then we're going to go out on a 7-mile hike, and I'll give you some of the details of that once we actually get going. Slept alright, had the dispacker on all night, 13 degrees, just took the chill off. It takes a while to get used to the noise, it's actually quite noisy. But enough waffleage, let's get some crumpage, and we'll have breakfast, and then we'll talk about what we're actually doing today.
Hello and welcome to the Botg Adventure channel. Today I'm doing a 7.5 mile hike up here in the Yorkshire Dales. We're up near Giggleswick, and that's going to include Jubilee Cave, the Victoria Cave, Attimire Scar, and well, I'll tell you about the rest once we actually get going, because I am freezing. I am wrapped up like Grizzly Adams. I've even grown a beard for the occasion.
Get charged 40 shillings if you don't shut this gate. 40 shillings.
After about a mile of going across the road and through a few little farmlands, we end up here near the River Ribble. I always think of Ribblehead. Oh, there you go, there's the River Ribble. And there's a beautiful little weir here. I don't mind telling you, the temperature now has dropped even more. In fact, it feels like your hands are going to stick to those islands as it's that cold. But it's quite a sight. Did I mention how cold it is here at the River Ribble? It's blooming cold. Now, behind me, we're about to see Attimire Scar. Now, the Yorkshire Dales 330 million years ago was full of tropical, warm, beautiful waters, and that encouraged coral fish and corals to get compacted over all those millions of years, and that created all the limestone outcrops and hills and all these little places that you see in the Dales. That's where it comes from. So we're going to head up now up towards the Attimire. It's hard to believe that 330 million years ago this was tropical. Blow it on us. Well, that sun's starting to come up now, so all the permafrost is starting to go, but my God, is it beautiful. The frost on the grass and the sun glistening is amazing. What I was going to say to you was, if you're going to come and do this trail at this time of year, I've only got normal hiking trainers on today rather than the full ankle boot, where a lot of the cattle have been and prodded into the grass as it's got solid. It's quite easy when you get your foot in for it to go over, and the chances of actually getting an ankle sprain are actually quite high on here, even though it looks completely flat. So take Uncle Boots' advice as he gets blinded. I wish I'd brought my sunglasses now. Probably better off with a full boot.
Feeling you're being watched.
Well, I've got to say, as we head along the River Ribble on our right here, up round the back towards Attimire Scar, we're on some single track through the woods here on the side of the river. This would be brilliant for mountain biking, although let's just stop it right there. This is a footpath, and we don't do, or we never have ridden on footpaths intentionally. I thought I would mention, because you may have noticed, that I'm actually carrying a printout of the route today. Now, I always take the trusty Garmin, the Garmin 650, and I make sure that I've got this, plenty of spare batteries, backups. But I think it's really important that you can't always rely on the Garmin. This thing eats through batteries if you're not using lithium, so always have a load of spare with you. But I think having a map and compass and being able to actually read a map is really important. Especially if you lose that signal. I haven't got this currently on GPS mode, but I have got Glasnost as well, which is the Russian satellite system, which is a lot more accurate, but that goes through your batteries even quicker, like a knife through hot butter. I think being prepared, especially if you're going out on a solo, let somebody know where you're going, when you expect to be back. I also take a picture of the van as well and try and log that on my phone, switch the phone off unless I absolutely need it to save the battery. So be prepared when you're out there. Always have a map, make sure you know roughly the route, and it really does help if you know where you are. Well, behind me, if you can hear me, is Stainforth Force. Wow, I know I always joke about Yorkshire tea and there being a massive amount of it, but there's a lot of Yorkshire tea getting flown over these rocks. Wow, the power of Mother Nature. Well, I'm not going to make light of that. I could have nearly died there, and you think, oh, you're exaggerating. No, I'm really not exaggerating. I don't know whether the camera caught that. These dark, wet stones, I thought they were just stuck, you know, a little bit of wetness, bit of slippy. No, it was ice. So as I slipped, I actually went towards the edge. Now, the power of that water and the temperature, it's death. You were just not going to survive that. The amount of water would just tumble dry you underneath. Really dangerous. A little bit stupid of me there. So let this be my lesson to be your lesson. I nearly had an heart attack then. I really panicked. And be careful of some of these puddles. You're walking around, you think, oh yeah, it's just a bit of mud. No, they're about that deep. Don't show your mother this video. So we're going to keep going now from Stainforth Force and head up to this beautiful, beautiful medieval bridge here. And that kind of marks almost a third of this trail. So far, absolutely stunning. Life can fiddle away without you even knowing it. Now the bridge behind me, asking a couple who live local, I said, has that bridge behind me got a name? She said, no, I don't think it has, but it's definitely medieval. Now, as you know, I'm a Ricardian. Richard III, the medieval period ended in 1485. So we know that this bridge was at least built in the 15th century. So it's going to be, what, nearly 700-800 years old. I love English history. I love it. If you're going to try and go to the Knight's Cafe, which I thought, incidents talking about the medieval stuff, doesn't open till 11. Don't bother. We're now passing through the really quiet village of Stainforth, and behind me is St Peter's Church. Now you know I love my English church. Couldn't actually find much history on this because I haven't got any reception. So if I can find out anything, I'll put it here on the video. You may recognise these stepping stones. We've ridden here many times, obviously not across the waterfall, but we've ridden here many times, and the route we usually do is this way. So it's really cool that I'm actually getting to do a hike and appreciate and actually get a chance to take in a lot of this. Well, all this, you don't really get a chance on a mountain bike. We're whizzing that fast down some of the trails. I've said it 100 times and I'll say it again. I'm really, really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. If there's any mountain bikers coming down here, we used to bomb down here, absolutely fly down into the village. So I'm going to experience it now and see whether I get annoyed at these bloody mountain bikers. We shall see. In the distance there you can see Ingleborough. Evening, ladies. Oh God, please don't charge me. And over to the right you can see Pennygent, which is over there. I'm not tired, I'm not bored of it, and I think if it was in the snow with it coming down, this would be one of my top favourite hikes. These are the Winskill Stones. Not really famous, although a lot of people come here to have the photograph taken with this particular rock behind me. Now these stones are used throughout Yorkshire as paving stones. So that's where a lot of this limestone, where it was originally used for paving stones. We don't do it now because it's part of the National Trust and the National Beauty Area of Beauty, so it's not done anymore. But it's quite a photograph. I'm sure you've seen this on Instagram. It is an amazing environment. Very, very, well, very, very Yorkshire. We love it. Get ready to climb.
If you don't want to go up this section of the trail, there is actually a nice grass path that goes all the way up to the top. This is certainly a lot more interesting. It's a little bit rough, undulating, constantly energy zapping. I'll pass.
Well, unfortunately, there seems to be a little bit of wrong planning on my behalf, because you've got to climb over that wall, and that is what you don't want to be doing. It's not safe. You don't want to damage the wall, so we're going to have to rearrange the plan a little bit on the GPX. There you go, this is the point of getting out there and testing it. So this is Victoria Cave. It's a little bit of a climb, it's not too bad. Now this is called Victoria Cave in honour of Queen Victoria, so 1887. And what's amazing about this cave was this one and the one further up used to be base level, so this would be at the bottom of the valley, and then over 130 million years it's all been washed away into the valley, so this would down at the bottom. And what they found in here is rhino, hippo and various animals, because we know that this area used to be tropical 130 million years ago when we were part of Pangaea. So in here they've found hyena bones and bones of many animals in here, so this is literally like walking into, well, prehistoric cave. So we know that man and dinosaurs didn't exist together. That's a bit of a myth. But the thought of prehistoric animals being in here, hyenas dragging in hippos and carcasses, is absolutely mind-blowing. The history and the story these walls could tell. It's absolutely incredible. Doesn't go that far, this one. The other one is actually the bigger one. But wow. So that was Victoria Cave. Jubilee Cave is actually a little bit further up, but there's a huge group. So we're going to head on now. We've got to be aware as well that the sun goes down a lot sooner than you think it does at this time of year. So it's time to cover up the bonds. And we've still got quite a way to go. I would recommend, if you're going to come nice and early, because it gets really, really busy, especially when there's big groups like that up there. So we're going to be heading now on the back leg of this hike. It's muddy, and now all that ice has melted. It's really, really slippy. Do I wish I'd brought me bigger boots? Yes, possibly, quite possibly. There's a lot of off-camber stuff and it starts to ache after a while. But anyway, it's well worth the trip. I really do wish more of the mountain bikers would start to enjoy hiking. There's just something amazing about being out in the environment like this and just taking your time. Two mountain bikers have just passed me, and both of them look like they were on Halford specials. I said, "Are you enjoying yourself, lads?" And lad at back went, "No, I think I'm going to throw up." The bikes look like, anyway, ill-prepared. I says, "You know you're on a footpath. We don't know where we are." So I've tried to help them. I says, "Well, Stainforth, it's quite a way that way down to the stepping stones in the village, which is brilliant downhill, but you've got a bit of a, there's a few little styes and gates out there. You've got to be prepared." Although we've all made that mistake. We've all gone out when we were younger on mountain bikes, got ourselves lost. I don't know if I'd come quite this far out though without a little bit of idea of where we're going. But according to my route, I've probably got about another 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And I'll give you the full review of the trail once we actually get back. But yeah, so far the weather's been perfect. Just cold enough to take that icy edge off. I've got. This is such an amazing environment. Look at it. I mean, just look at it. Not only is it mind-blowing, but as we mentioned up at the cave, the thought that this is actually produced and was made by coral, cuttlefish, shellfish, all being crushed and compacted down into a hard sediment over millions of years, is just, it's just mind-blowing. It's really hard to comprehend a lot of the things in the universe. I know I talk about flat Earth, but this is just, and also the fact that we would be underwater now, because the water level would have been much higher than this. It's incredible. It really is incredible. And you're only going to get experiences like this by getting out there and experiencing it for yourself. So we're almost there. We're almost there now. I know most people don't watch my videos more than 4 or 5 minutes, so nobody's going to even watch this. But if you are still watching, Slackhouse and Langdale is just down there. Pennygent is on your right, and Settle is just around this corner, as you'll see the village over near Giggleswick. Absolutely beautiful to be able to come down on this nice grassy bridle way that doesn't hurt your feet or your ankles, and is a gentle incline, so it's not going to hurt your knees at the end of it. Did feel like quite a long 7 miles. We haven't quite finished, so maybe I should stop waffling and carry on hiking. Come on, lad. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. So that brings us to the end of the hike. So what do we actually think about it? Well, I'll tell you what. I know it was only 7.5 miles, but it actually felt a lot longer than 7.5 miles. My feet are like ba-bum, 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 if that makes sense. And I've actually got a cut in my trainer and my foot's been bleeding. So I would probably suggest you get some decent boots. But a great hike. It would be amazing if it was snowing. Absolutely amazing. But for now, it's time to get home, start editing. In fact, I might go into town and get a little bite to eat. This is irrelevant to you, I know. I'm fully aware that nobody even makes it this far. But a great hike. It is available, but please be aware of that section. Follow the grass path. Don't follow it up where I actually planned it here. A little mistake on my behalf, I'll admit. I'll try and make a note of that on the video. But overall, brilliant. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll find it. You can hike it. Paddleboard and mountain biking, I think, on the next one. It's time to get into town. Cup of coffee, something else to eat. Let me know your comments and feedback in the box below. But in the meantime, life's an adventure. Get out and enjoy it. Bye-bye. Come on, Pep. Let's go.